Okay, so we're going to talk about Scalar, Scalar 2, that is. This is the new version 2.9. It introduces two features that I like. It has a few other updates, I think, but two features that I'm going to focus on. And one is live. It's right here. So if you know, Scalar has a suggestion mode. Let's say you put a chord in like this one. Okay. And then you press suggest, it will give you chords that you can use. If you click pattern, it will give you a random pattern that fills all these spaces, right? And then, of course, if you click on this little um, trigger right here, it allows you, which is right here, to play the notes. So that's real basic. Everybody who's used Scalar kind of knows that. So what Live introduces is you can basically play chords right here without having to touch it with your hand or with your mouse, especially on the desktop. So you could go and you'll see it is right here. So if I turn off Live, it disappears. If I turn it on, there it is. And it's suggestions for chords. So now I think if you move down, it changes maybe. Hold on, let's see here. So that's one of the things I don't know why it only plays those first handful of chords. Maybe they'll add it to where it plays everything going out eventually. See, there's a lot of chord suggestions. So anyway, whatever the case may be, we know that it's playing not even a full octave, but basically eight chords, right? That you can. So this is nice because now you can play it kind of on your keyboard, and it's a nice added feature within Ableton. This is 2.9, so I think if I heard right, this is the last one in Ableton. I mean, not Ableton. The last one in Scalar for the version 2 of Scalar. I think after this, they will introduce Scalar 3. So if you haven't bought it, it's on sale right now, I think on desktop for like $79 at this time of filming for Plugin Boutique, I want to say. So if you haven't bought it, I'd say now is the time to get it. And the reason why I say that is because let's say 6 months from now, they drop Scalar 3. I'm just speculating. Then you would get the discount for Scalar 3. Otherwise, if you wait, you would pay whatever the full price of Scalar 3 is going to be. I don't know what the prices are. I'm not saying you have to get it, but I'm just saying if you don't have it, you want it, it might be the right time to buy. Depends on each person's budget. We're all different. All right. But being able to use this is a really cool feature now, because before I had to play with one hand on the key and then I had to click. But it looks like you'll still have to do that to some degree, because some of these chords down here are not triggering by playing a note. Okay. So suggestion, right? It'll give you different suggestions. So that's kind of what that is. If you never use this too, and you want to stay in scale, like the grays are out of scale, but they tonally sound good with the chord progression. And here's you can auto detect too, as thinking that these chords are in the scale of A Lydian mode, right? So now, but let's say you also want to go with a random pattern, you can click here and it will replace. I'm not going to do it. Or you can either fill it in with here, or it'll override and replace what you already have and give you a pattern. So this is kind of cool if you just go in not knowing what in the world you want to do. You could pick a scale, pick maybe one chord, and then just click pattern and it'll give you a nice little pattern. So it's kind of fun to use this feature if you've never used it before. I know a lot of people get in the scale and they only touch these areas here and they just find chords, and I'm guilty of that too. But anyway, use suggestion. It's really quality, and the feature is called Live, which allows you. Then once you find a chord, you can move on to the next one. Now you got a different group of notes. You see the notes changed, the recommended chords change. Every time you change a chord, it's going to give you new recommended chords that could follow. Okay? And you can play them live so that you get a feel for what they sound like. All right, let's move on. So we're going to turn off there. I'm going to get rid of this pattern. Go back to my pattern that I have here. So this is one that I created using the very method I just showed you. Okay, now I'm going to show you what passages are. So passages is under the performance section. If you click, it's right below strumming. It's a new feature they added, and there's 7 passages. These are your passages. All of them are on the white keys and they're represented here. So you can change them here one by one, or you can change it on your keyboard. So let me move back an octave. Right? Now why are these cool? Because they add a little extra melody or a passage at the end to the next chord. So watch. So I'm in 1. Hear that? That ding ding, the little melody part. Switch passages. Now I'm gonna switch a chord. And you can switch any of the chords. And you can go wherever you want. Pretty much you just select it and play your chord, and then it plays that passage at the end. Now there's also the ability to change up the speed. So let's do a little bit slower. See what that sounds like. So there you go. So you can change the speed, how it plays on the passage portion of it, or you can just put the time at 1 where it's pretty much. And it just gives you that human feel of someone playing a melody while you're playing the chord. So it kind of what is the word? It gives you a just a better sounding chord instead of just playing it real bland. Like if you turn it off and you turned off, well, if you definitely turn off humanization, you're gonna hear a bland chord. That's just what it is. So if you turn humanization on, put it on both so you get the velocity and the timing. Oops, didn't mean to click that. So now the notes are nudged a little bit, the velocities are varied, and passage now adds the ability to embellish. See the chord. And you can switch it when you want to. Okay, so that's passages, and that I think they're gonna grow this, is what I heard, more. We probably won't see the growth. My dog is snoring in the back. It's funny. We won't see the growth until the following Scalar 3, but this is kind of more of an introductory of passages and what it could do. Now, could you play the melody yourself? Of course. You could turn it off. Right? So that's what it's basically doing. Of course, they're professional pianists, so they embellish it and make it sound really good. So for those that don't know piano, they're gonna help you feel like you know piano. But check this out. Here's my method to the madness of how I would do it. I'm using the chords, right, triggered here, and then if you look at these blue notes, not the ones that are lit up like this, these are the ones the chord are playing. Here's the chords in scale. So if you play the ones in scale, you're good, right? So oops, I was out of scale. So I learned this is how I do it. I learned my scale first. So I see the scale is, and any of those notes I can toy around however I want melodically. Right? That's how I do it. For those that don't have that ability or that connection with music yet, perhaps they're on their way. Passages give you passages to create a nice sounding piece on the piano. So it's just a tool to help you. It could give you ideas, maybe spark inspiration on how you want to finish your tracks. I just gave you a few extra bonus tips on what I would do to create my own melodies within it. However, explore and figure out your lane, right? And your way that you choose to make music. Just wanted to show you these new features in Scalar 2.9. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what else they come out with. It's pretty cool.